certain images you will never get out of your head from your childhood. In particular, in 1986, there was a film by Steven Spielberg called Poltergeist. This was the sequel, Poltergeist 2. And till this day, every time it rains outside, I look outside my window and I envision Reverend Cain walking up slowly on the sidewalk. It was this old, creepy looking man with a dark black hat. Now in Poltergeist 2, this house was plagued with a disease, with a curse. And in correlation with the Phantom Blade world, it's not just one single house or household that's sick and plagued with a disease, it's the entire town. And you're playing as a character by the name of Soul, who happens to be the one that's actually strolling into town in the dark black hat, in the dark black trench coat, in search of a cure for the disease that you have that's giving you 66 days to live. Now in Phantom Blade Zero, it's 66 days, but in Soulframes' original game, the one that he is retelling the story of, Rainblood Town of Death. Now this is well known if you've been looking for that Soulframe, that's the creative director and CEO of S Game. His first original game that he did was a 2D turn-based video game, indie game, Chinese indie game from way back during his college days that he hand sketched and hand drew everything. Then he created an RPG maker. Now, I personally wanted to know the lore of Phantom Blade Zero. I knew some bits and pieces here and there, but I kind of searched around the internet. I couldn't really find much at all that really gave me a full detailed exactly why and how Soul had a limited amount of time to live. So I went back to Rain and Blood and watched it from the beginning to the end. And the opening sequence is so dark. Even now, 15, 16 years later, in the 2D turn-based side-scroller, shocking to me that I can't imagine that Phantom Blade Zero is not gonna open in this way. And I know he said it's gonna be a retelling, but I found so many different details and characters and story beats that is the exact same from his original game that he's transferred over to Phantom Blade Zero that I found in the recent trailers. Now, when the game opens, just like when the trailer opens, we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison. It's raining, it's dark, it's gloomy. The name of this small town is called Pain. The opening of Phantom Blade Zero and in Rain and Blood, you see it's dark, gloomy, raining. Then you meet this little girl. She's wandering around. They chat and meet, and he goes, "Who are you? I don't remember seeing you here. Why are you here?" They start talking back and forth. Basically, she tells you that her father is sick. She's out looking for a cure, or she's out looking to buy the cure, but she don't have enough money. So having a soft heart, gives her some money to go to the local pharmacy to help cure her dad. As she can say, she said, "The cure is my father's only hope." And this is a line that really hit me in the heart. Soul tells her, "You haven't shedded a single tear since all the time we've spoken. Keep that strong will until the very end." She replies as he walks away, "I didn't cry because there aren't any tears left. How about blood?" Now, as we progress in this story, I want you to keep that in mind. Rain and blood. We're gonna come back to that. So turns out they used this little girl as bait. Now, this here are a lot of the same characters and enemies and monsters that you saw in the Phantom Blade Zero. This big purple guy here, he was absolutely in the trailer. He's called a ghost servant. A lot of these are called ghost servants, but they have different levels. Again, going off the lore that Soulframe has said that he's written for this world. As you can see in the comparison shot, this is the same, of course, a lot more beautiful in Unreal Engine 5 and 15, 20 years later, but this is the same monster. This is a ghost servant. Now, if you watch any of the John Wick films, and the ones that come to mind, you know, they have this thing called an organization, like a cabal, like a mafia, and they have their own world, their own rules in the John Wick universe. So it's the same thing in this. You have servants that's one tier, this tier. Now, in this town in particular, Soul came here looking for his best friend, Shang. Turns out Shang has actually sent these assassins to try to kill him, from my understanding. Very much similar to when Keanu Reeves, John Wick, had all the assassins coming at him. Everyone's trying to kill him, all while he's trying to save his own life. Now, during this time, I'm not quite sure that he knows yet, but as you see in the Phantom Blade Zero trailer, as he gets into the town, this exact same scene essentially happens in the initial reveal trailer. Gets into the town, you see the big purple ghost servant, you see the big gray whatever this guy's name is. It's the same shot, just of course then and now, which is fascinating. So the ghost servant is talking shit to Soul. He says he wants to see just how painful it would be for you when we turn this little girl in two pieces right before your eyes. Your pain is all ultimate pleasure. Of course, Soul doesn't like that, so he pulls out the sword slash blade. Boom, stop it there. Once again, in Phantom Blade Zero, side by side, he pulls out his weapon. At first, I couldn't tell if it was red or not, but as you look in and kind of color correct and see it in 4K, the sword slash blade is red, just like he pulls it out right here. It's just from a different angle. It's in 2D, but this is the exact same shot when he pulls it out. How fucking cool is that? That when Soul was in college, he had this vision, this drawing, and making this 2D game from this to that. That is like, that's so awesome. But something happens. Now, of course, at this time, the combat is not nearly as you see then and now. I mean, it's a big difference, right? But he still had the premise of what he wanted it to be. But unfortunately, things took a turn. The little girl says, just like you said, I won't shed a single tear. Watch this. He cut off the little girl head. Now, just from this little 2D side scroller so far, I'm already so emotionally invested into this story. I can't even express to you. I will leave the link to Soul's channel. This is a YouTuber. I don't think he uploads anymore. That he posted his full playthrough. It's like 10-minute clips. Please do yourself a favor if you're a nerd like me and go watch. You just gotta read. But I laid it was already raining outside. I laid on the couch. I put it on, and it was just watching an anime TV show come to life. It was phenomenal. I think they have the Chinese version on here somewhere, but of course I was watching the English translation. So from everything that I've seen so far, this is probably going to be how Phantom Blade Zero opens. Something similar to this. It's going to hit you. It's going to hit you in the heartstrings. Something just like this, I truly believe, because I've seen a lot of signs of him taking his old creations and just making them new. I got another one. You know, we talked about Rain and Blood earlier, right? And also throughout the original trailer, you hear this narrated voice of this lady, of this girl talking. I believe that's the little girl that's going to be his inside voice, because during out the game, the little girl voice pops back up in his brain and is just and fucking with him, basically saying this, saying that, and I think that's going to be the same narrative voice that's going to be talking to him as he progresses through the game. Now, look at this. If you've been following the game, does this look familiar to you? That's his best friend Shang. That's Soul. It's the showdown for the Year of the Dragon. They released a trailer about a year ago. It was an anime style trailer. It was in the rain, and it was the same exact thing. GJ split screen that. And once again, goes to show that Soulframe is a true artist, because now he brought his original vision to what it is now. And this duel is fantastic. Again, this is very limited because it's on RPG Maker. The guy didn't have a budget at all. Well, seeing from what he did from now, from Shang and Soul having a showdown from whenever there was kids up into grown-ups, I mean, this is phenomenal, bro. How cool is that? I'm so glad I dug around and I was looking at it. So our swords curved slightly away at the last second. We both felt the very tip of the blade cutting against the fear of death caused the inaccuracy. So nobody won that full. It was a draw. But what happened at the end of this? How could Phantom Blade Zero conclude? I think, again, because at the spoiler alert for this, if you don't want to know, but at the end you have a choice where you have a choice of different potions you want to take, and one potion, I believe, kills you and the other one cures you. So I think in Phantom Blade Zero, you're going to get to the end, you're going to have multiple endings, and I think you're going to have a choice whether you want to take the 7 heavens of this. It was called something else. I don't know the exact, because I don't want to spoil everything for you, but I think at the end of Phantom Blade, you're going to have a choice of what you decide to do. I think this is going to be the beginning of a sequel into the bigger Phantom Blade world, just like this is like number 1, because the second one was Rainblood Town of Death number 2, then they had Rainblood Mirage, then after that they have Phantom Blade Executioner. So it's all within the same world. So with this being Phantom Blade Zero, I believe eventually down the other you're going to get Phantom Blade 1, Phantom Blade 2, so on and so forth. Keep in mind, this is not just based off the first game, because I went over to Phantom Blade Mirage and I found something so cool. So once again, I was looking at this boss here. This is the same boss that they fought in the demo. The same style with the big spiky ball. Just look at the art style. Look at that. And once again, one of his original designs that he just brought to life in Unreal Engine 5 that he's bringing over to Phantom Blade Zero. Absolutely fantastic. Even a lot of the enemies as well too. Same color, same art style. I just think that is cool. That's how he's remained true to the world that he created. And a few more things I learned about Soul, the character as well, that he has a heart. He has compassion. And that's why him and his best friend Shang clashed, because he had the reputation of pulling his punches like Spider-Man. Shang was a lot more ruthless ruthless. He didn't care. Kill who he needed to kill, no matter who it was. And that's why the two clash. So I think that's going to be fascinating, especially if they give you some choices in Phantom Blade Zero, whether you want to go full Ghost like in Ghost of Tsushima, or you want to pull back and just kind of be of honor and of code. But I just think it's fascinating. It just like again, and they have Phantom Blade Executioners out right now, which is all within the same world. And Soul is actually one of the four assassins that or executioners that you can choose as well. And it all connects all the way. And I didn't want to get too much into the combat, but originally when this trailer first dropped and I was talking about the Kung Fu Punk, I believe Soul called it, and it looked just like Donnie Yen's fighting style, which is one of my favorites of all time besides Jackie Chan. You know that fighting like IP Man, or in particular in John Wick 4 when he was blind, just like that swag. I did a video on this a while back ago, kind of expressing like, hey, what did this style look familiar? DJ, put that in. It's been living rent-free in my head ever since I watched the trailer. I've watched it like 3 or 4 times. And I still stand by everything that I said. Again, this is almost a year and a half ago that I made that. And with that being in the John Wick world and going back to this being a John Wick style, horror style game, this world has it hooks inside of me. Pause. And I can't wait for more. But please, I would implore you, or anyone that's knows way more about this world than me, please comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think we're going to be able to make decisions? Do you think he's going to do it like 1-for-1? He do plan on changing up some things, which I would imagine he's going to make some changes. But from what I've found so far, I can't imagine that the intro for Phantom Blade Zero is not as close to what we just witnessed from Rainblood Town of Death. I think that's going to be almost exact. This is what game's supposed to be of. No agendas, no bullshit, no consulting firms. Tell a great story. It's full of passion, no microtransactions, no bullshit, no battle passes. Just a good story, amazing gameplay, and just a passionate fucking dev team. Phantom Blade Zero got it. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Till next time. Peace.